Well, hello there, my friends, and welcome back to more Monsters of Folklore. Today, we are going to be diving into a creature known as the Mothman. Now, the Mothman is described as a bipedal winged avian humanoid with owl-like traits. Despite his name, which was given to him by newspapers, he is no way moth-like. His coloration varies from black, gray, to even brown or white, although it is usually the darker shades. He is often reported to be about 7 feet tall with a wingspan of about 10 to 15 feet or more, plus the ability to fly over 100 miles per hour, which is pretty insane. Now, sometimes he's described as not having a head with two huge red eyes set in the chest. These eyes are reported to be glowing or at least reflective. The details of his face and his feet have never been adequately described, though. One witness who saw the face clearly could only say that the details were horrible and monstrous. She had terrible nightmares and nearly suffered a nervous breakdown. So I'm assuming the Mothman has just got the world's most scariest looking face. Now, anyone who can get a close look at the Mothman seems to suffer from extreme fear and psychological distress, sometimes lasting for months or years afterwards. In particular, people say that a sense of pure evil overcomes them when they see the Mothman's eyes. That would be quite scary. Now, he can fold his wings and walk like a weird shuffle that many witnesses compare to a penguin. When he flies, he unfolds his wings and shoots straight up with great speed, then levels out to go wherever he wants to go. He is rarely observed flapping his wings except for on takeoff. Witnesses often describe his flight pattern as straight up like a helicopter. That's weird, but okay. And now he can fly much faster than any bird should be able to fly, as measured by those victims who've suffered from what seems to be Mothman's favorite activity, chasing cars. He'll fly in front of them and even sometimes hit at the roof. Now, that was mostly like what the Mothman really is. There's a whole bunch more stuff that I have compiled, and we're about to get into that right now. Now, the Mothman has been seen during a period from November 1966 to December 1967. He supposedly is responsible for the collapse of the Silver Bridge, a disaster that is linked to the Mothman, though superstition that killed 46 people. There is serious debate about whether the Mothman caused the bridge to collapse or he was merely warning people about it. There is a photo, I think, of this also, but people think it's either the Mothman or just part of the bridge itself, just the angle of it was different. Some believe the Mothman is connected to, or also known as, Indrid Cold. Now, that is a name for the Grinning Man, a supernatural entity who grins at those who see him. The Grinning Man is believed to be an alien or some form of alien species. Now, Indrid Cold, that would be a whole video on its own. The first known sighting of the Mothman in November 1966 was witnessed by 5 men at once. Over the next 13 months, more than 100 sightings took place with credible witnesses like couples, firefighters, and larger groups of people. So many people, have stated that they have seen or have thought they have seen something that resembles the Mothman. Most people know about the Mothman because of the Mothman Prophecies, a book written by journalist and author John Keel, and it was later turned into a movie. The book and movie connect the Mothman to the townspeople of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, having psychic abilities and the collapse of the Silver Bridge, which I had stated earlier. People have explained away the Mothman as a large heron or a sandhill crane. Now, that could be a possibility. The glowing eyes could simply be normal animal eyes reflecting light from another source, like a flashlight or car headlights, which would give, the red glow of the Mothman's eyes. To this day, people claim to have seen the Mothman before disasters like 9/11, which is highly impossible, but there is actually a picture of that as well floating around somewhere on the internet, and the collapse of the 35W bridge in Minneapolis. Mothman sightings have been associated with at least 2 other cryptoids. You have the gigantic thunderbirds with gray bodies and red heads that were sighted in the same area at the same time by a few witnesses, and then you have the Owlman, which is an identical creature with wings and red eyes sighted in Cornwall, England in 1976. Sheriff George Johnson, who the original witness contacted, believed the Mothman may have been just a large heron. Wildlife biologist Dr. Robert L. Smith at West Virginia University thought the Mothman was a sandhill crane, which the newspapers then reported on, but the witnesses completely disagree. Now, skeptic Joe Nickel posted owls as an explanation because of their eye shine and their silhouette resembling the headless Mothman. Most modern skeptics seem to agree that Joe Nickel, but the sightings might just be too extraordinary to attribute them to such animals. Two legends from, I will probably get some of these names wrong. You have the Shawnee Indian lore mentioned creatures closely resembling the Mothman, deemed Misignawa and Wapi respectively. In the legend of Misignawa, description of Mothman is indeed similar to Bigfoot by ceremonial dress used during the bread dance. Now, the Wapi legend is also similar in that it's part of the Shawnee lore, and that a family of Indians chose to become white hawks living in the forest near Point Pleasant. So that means, they just transcended into becoming white hawks. These are just many of the sightings and theories of what the Mothman is. Some believe the Mothman may be an angel, demon, or the product of a blood curse placed upon the town by Chief Cornstalk, who was murdered along with his son in the area. Similar, though, the curse theory is one very attached to the collapse of the Silver Bridge. Now, another theory proposed by Bill's channel suggests that the Mothman is just a surviving, evolved Washington's eagle. Now, the Mothman Festival, which happens in West Virginia, it's an annual, commemoration of the visit of the cryptoid, known as the Mothman. It started in 2002 and is held on the third weekend on every September in downtown Point Pleasant, West Virginia. It is located next to the Mothman Museum and the Mothman statue. The festival features a wide variety of vendors, guest speakers. It has music, food, events for people of all ages. And people from all over the world apparently do come to experience the unique atmosphere and learn more about the Mothman himself. Now, I'm from West Virginia and I've heard about the Mothman, and just to have this many sightings and this amount of people say they have seen something, it's really hard to tell what it could be. But also the Mothman was featured in Fallout 76. They made the Mothman more, I guess, like owl-shaped than some of the others, some of the other theories out there. But anyway, the way you look at it, it is interesting that something like this could really exist. But there's also apparently here in the past few years there have been sightings of the Mothman in Chicago. Now, I don't really know much about that. I haven't really looked into that yet either. But if that's the case, then maybe it is something else and not just the Mothman itself. You never know. But if you enjoy learning about what the Mothman is and some history of the Mothman, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see the rest of the stuff I always put up. Like the video, comment what you thought about the Mothman. Have you played Fallout 76 and have you encountered the Mothman? But anyway, thanks you so much for watching. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you later.